everyone, welcome back to another tutorial. My name's Christian, and today we're talking about all things text. We're talking about specifically hierarchy, paragraph styles, and just getting your document set up so that text works for you and that it's not something that's difficult. So right here I've got open our latest release of the magazine, and there's a Citigroup fall launch section that I wanted to talk about today. So when talking about text hierarchy, we all know what a headline is. We hear it on the news and we see it in our newspapers, and you hear the news reporter say, "Today's headlines," and really what it means is this is the topic of discussion. This is the main point of this, and we've summed it down into a few words. But not a lot of people know what body is. Body or copy. Copy generically refers to both headlines and body, but body itself is actually the meat of the story. So if we look at this page, we've got our headline up here, Citigroup fall launch, and then we've got our body copy down here. So headline copy, body copy. And really, it's really important to have a hierarchy between those two so that there's good separation, good visual separation. You can tell here one font is bold and one font is a thinner weight. And so what I like to do when I'm thinking about setting up a document is my headlines and my body are always going to be two font weights away from each other. So if I click here on Citigroup fall launch and I go over here to my character panel where I can change fonts, sizings, tracking, everything like that, I'll click in here and I can see in the weights that it's extra bold. And if I click down here on my body copy, I can see that it's regular. And if I count, it's 1 step away, 2 steps away, 3 steps away, 4. So it's 4 total steps away from body copy to headline, which is good. And you really only have to do 2. So I could switch this to bold if I wanted to. But I kind of like a little thicker headline here because I'm going to create a hierarchy down here in my shadow box, or what I'm going to call a shadow box today. Just kind of a pull out and a visual difference between our body, the meat of the article, and an actual call to action here at the end. So in this hierarchy, it's actually bold, as you can see here, and body. So that's 2 away, which is perfect. So within this page I created, this is our main hierarchy. This was 2 away from actually the bold. So all of these steps, 2 away from here, 4 away from here, and this is 2 away from here. So we're in a good space. Obviously this body copy down here, the shadow box copy, is a little bit smaller than our body copy. But again, we're creating a hierarchy and creating something that's going to be visually pleasing, but also going to be easy to read on this 8.5 by 11 magazine page. So that's important. These are in the same font family, which you can do and create the hierarchy with the weightings when you actually have maybe a when you have a serif for your body copy, and as we have here a sans serif for your headline, you can fudge those rules a little bit. And the weighting rules aren't as defined when you're mixing font styles rather than when you're in the same font style. So keep that in mind as you're creating your documents. So right now I want to talk about paragraph styles, which is our menu down here. If you can't see the menu on your screen, go up to Window and into Types and Tables. Types and Tables will give you paragraph and character, which are tabs over here. But go into Styles, and we've got a bunch of different styles here that'll all help you create your documents. And in the future, we're going to talk about object styles and text wrapping and things like that. But I just keep previewing future videos here. Today we're talking about paragraph styles. So if I click that away, obviously it'll go away. And if I click that in, it'll show up again. So right now, we've got headline selected for this first one, and if I click on our body copy, we've got body copy, which is great. This is kind of a layout I'm using for this document where there's a couple other pages on here that have a similar flow, similar yellow color pop, and that I'm using paragraph styles to create that hierarchy between pages, so that if I would go in and change the paragraph style, it would update on another page, and I wouldn't have to go back and change all the headlines to a certain font or a certain weight or anything like that. But for right now, I just want to show you how to create a paragraph style. So what I'm going to do is delete these styles, And it's going to bring up a prompt here for delete paragraph styles. Now, if you've already applied paragraph styles to the document, you might have a basic paragraph style defined, and that's right up here in the parentheses. Usually that's the default font that you started typing with at the beginning of your document creation. But you can actually select no paragraph style here, and I'm going to apply it all since I have all of these selected, and that will actually preserve any local changes you've made or any stylings you've applied. So if I've applied those paragraph styles, I'm going to undo to these, and I actually wanted to format that like basic paragraph. I'll show you what that does. It kind of just destroys all the formatting. And maybe when I get into my document creation, I want to restyle things and maybe realign things, or maybe create a better hierarchy in my paragraph styles for what I'm doing. And you can actually create a hierarchy with folders and make style groups and stuff like that and drag them in. But so instead of doing that, I'm going to delete styles, and I'm going to make them no paragraph style, so it will keep the local formatting, and now I can create our styles from scratch. So here we're going to select Citigroup Fall Launch, and we're going to click on this Create New Style tab. It kind of looks like a post-it down there. And after that, we're going to select paragraph style 1. So that's really important, because if you just start making changes with this and you don't have this selected and named, then your organization could get a little wonky. So right now I'm going to name this headline. And right now I can toggle here back between the basic paragraph, which you saw in headline. So it's actually gonna give me all the characteristics that I defined the paragraph style with when I created it of this text box. So that's really important, because I could go to this next page where it has this, and I think this is a little bit different, a little bit smaller and a little bit less weight, but I could definitely use it in this way and have that on that page. Moving back down to body copy, I'm going to create the style the exact same way. Select it. You can either name it here, or you can open this window and name it from the style options. So I'll just name it body copy. And I could base it on a certain style or base on headline. But I just like to leave them blank, because then I don't have to apply or take away the any additions, and I'll show you what that means in a second. But basically, you can have this style override highlighter. If you're clicking on a paragraph style, I don't think it'll happen in this document right now, but say you're clicking on a paragraph style and it's not updating, it'll actually show you a little plus mark here, not a check mark, a plus mark. And that means that the style that you selected, or the text box that you selected into that style, isn't yet body copy, but we want to clear those overrides right there. And I think I've already cleared them on a document basis here. So you'll be able to clear all overrides if that's selected, and everything should update how it should. So moving down here into the shadow box area, I'm going to quickly create 2 styles this way, so that we can see some of the differences. And down to my shadow box body copy layer. Okay, so now I've got this hierarchy. I can organize these however I want. I can organize them with style groupings, and actually, if I select these and create a folder, then I should be able to drag them in. So maybe I've got, this is just main page content. Man, I am a sucker for organization though, so this is great. And then I've got shadow boxes, so I can actually store it and manage it and find it later in a way that's easy for me. The workflow is easy for me within the paragraph styles, using folders there too. So here's an example. The reason you would have so many, like, oh man, our shadow box copy and our body copy are pretty similar. Maybe I could just use the same paragraph style. I want to caution you against that, because if you actually see here, if I change this shadow box copy down here on the spread to body copy, it's going to take all those same characteristics. So it's actually going to take the black font style or the black font coloring. So, I mean, I could change that locally here, and go into our color tab and, change it to white or something like that. Or I could go up here. I just did the hard way. Go to paper and change that. And actually you can see right here, it's created our plus sign because I made a local change. So although it may appear right, it's still a version of body copy that's not the original. So I could actually right click on here and redefine the style. So if you like a change in a style that you've created locally, you can redefine it. I'm not going to at this point. I can just change styles there, and I've got that clear override selected so that doesn't happen to me again.